This has probably been some of the worst years for Walt Disney as a company, I think, ever. Have they ever had this many box office flops in a row like they have lately? One of their biggest flopping fishes is Star Wars. People are dumping this brand left and right for good reason. It's been pretty awful since Lucasfilm bought it. They've maybe had one or two good things, Rogue One, and I think Mandalorian's season 1 and 2 are pretty good. I like Mandalorian season 1 and season 2, though I don't think those are the greatest shows ever. They're actually pretty mediocre. Overall, they're not that bad. Then, of course, season 3 rolls around along with Book of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan and all the dog shit that they've put out, and fans just take off. Now, a lot of people say Andor's good. Like I've said a million times, I haven't watched it. I just couldn't get past the first 2 episodes. I thought they were really boring. But people say it picks up after the third one. So, I mean, there's that. Rogue One's the only thing they've really put out that I would probably still watch again. I would watch Rogue One again. Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2, not so much. But as they lose all of this money, Disney is trying to reevaluate things. So there's not a lot coming out next year. But it would seem that Kathleen Kennedy wants to expedite Daisy Ridley's Rey movie. And that Disney executives are terrified of another Marvel's failure, because the Marvels lost hundreds of millions of dollars because it had a high budget. Well, Kathleen Kennedy is trying to get the ball rolling on this, and guess what? She wants to have a high budget. Now, this is, of course, all rumor, so keep this, with a grain of salt. But I think WDW Pro and John F. Trent here are good sources, so we're going to go along with it and see what's going on. I do think that they want to push this movie out. I think Kathleen Kennedy sees this movie as her redemption. Once again, showing how out of touch she is, because the plot of this movie is apparently Rey Palpatine, or as Lucasfilm calls her, Rey Skywalker, rebuilding the Jedi Order. You know, that thing that everyone wanted to see Luke Skywalker do? Well, now you've got Rey doing it. And she's going to have 2 apprentices, and of course, it's going to be a boy and a girl, and the girl starts to show extraordinary abilities, meaning she's got the future in her hands. The boy, though, not so much, so I'm sure he'll turn into the villain. That's just a guess, but, I mean, given that the Force is female over there at Lucasfilm, I really would not be shocked. So, here's what's going on. A new rumor claims that Kathleen Kennedy is expediting the production of the previously announced Rey film featuring Daisy Ridley. But not only is the film reportedly being rushed into production, but a number of Disney executives are terrified that the film will end up being another failure like the Marvels. Now, why would they think that? Oh, probably because the Marvels had a bunch of characters that nobody really likes in it, just like Rey, and won't show up for it, just like they didn't for the Marvels. Because let's face it, the Disney sequel trilogy is not very well liked. There are some shippers that like it, and some people on Twitter that claim they like it. I think it's mostly because they just want to own the chuds. I don't think they really like it. There's not really a big demand for a Rey movie. Most people just don't really care about the character. Now, I don't have a problem with Daisy Ridley. I think it's a hard position for her. I'm sure she's been promised a massive check. So I don't really blame her for coming back to get that big payday. I guarantee you she's getting a lot of money for this. However, nobody wants to see this. This isn't Hayden Christensen. This is Daisy Ridley's Rey. a character that most people just don't really care for. I mean, the toy sales don't lie. I'm sorry. There's a reason why when you go into an Ollie's, they have stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks of Rey action figures because she doesn't sell. Sorry, it's a hard truth. And if this movie has a big budget, it's not going to make money. Now, maybe if it has a small budget, that could maybe work. But I'm talking, they got to make this movie for $50 million, which I don't think is going to happen. This ain't Japan. This isn't Godzilla -1 here. This is modern Lucasfilm. And they throw money at everything. They're like, shh, don't matter what the budget is, it'll make money. Indiana Jones, we're going to replace him with Phoebe Waller-Bridge. It's going to make $1 billion. That thing was a massive flop. All Lucasfilm was put into theaters are flops. So I'm not sure that Disney is so gung-ho anymore to just give them hundreds of millions of dollars. Problem? Kathleen Kennedy. She'll get what she wants. She'll get what she wants. She must have pictures of Bob Iger sleeping with a woman or maybe a man. I don't know. Maybe both. And I'm pretty sure, I think Bob Iger's married, so that would be quite a little bit of a scandal. So, I don't know. She's going to get what she wants. This movie is going to be bloated and overproduced and way over budget and probably going to require $1 billion or something to make money, and it's not going to make anything near that. It'll probably make about the same amount of money as the Marvels. Sorry. I could see that happening because nobody wants to go see this movie. Nobody is excited to see Rey rebuild the Jedi Order. Would have loved to seen Luke do it. Hell, you could have still had Rey in the movie. You could have had Luke rebuilding a somewhat starting to thrive Jedi Order. You could have had Rey been his apprentice and him trainer. That would have been a much better movie, by the way. I think that would have, if they could have properly passed the torch and maybe depowered her a little bit. She was way too overpowered. I think something could have worked there. But, of course, this is Kathleen Kennedy. Women don't need men at Lucasfilm. So Rey was just naturally gifted. The latest rumor comes from scooper WDW Pro and comes in the wake of a listing on the Film and Television Industry Alliance's website that the Rey film will go into production in the United Kingdom April 7th, 2024. So they're rushing this. They want to get this out as quick as possible. WDW Pro stated at the time that she is allegedly in a very big hurry to get this movie into full-on production. That includes trying to reserve locations very fast out of the strike, as well as getting everything tucked away and done and put into place. They want to move fast. Still, I'm told not to expect this film out until at the very earliest, late 2025, but most assuredly 2026. That means that even when this comes out, it will still have been basically a decade since Disney made money with Star Wars. WDW Pro's latest information from his insider details say that Disney executives are very worried about this because of the Marvels. And here's where that worry comes from. The Marvels is unlikely to break $100 million at the domestic box office. It's an unbelievable flop. Now, what did the audience say about Captain Marvel for years? They said, we don't want to see Captain Marvel. We went because you told us we had to see what was going to happen in our favorite movies. And then because it was not a good movie, we now dislike this character. He continued. And then the audience celebrated when Captain Marvel is not in other movies very much. And then when Disney said, no, she's popular, here's the movie, go see it, here's the sequel, fans reacted poorly. This is exactly what's going to happen with that Rey movie. 100%. 100%. Sorry, she just doesn't have fans. Sure, I'm sure there's some people that claim they like her, though I think that they're lying because they want to own the chuds. I don't think anyone really cares for her that much. She's just not a good character. She's not. Rey is magnitudes higher than that, than the dislike for Captain Marvel. That's a tough call. That is a tough call. I would argue they're on the same. I think Captain Marvel and Rey are almost evenly disliked. I don't know. Who is higher? Tell me in the comments. Who do you dislike more? Rey Palpatine or Captain Marvel? Let me know. I'm curious. Curious to see what you guys have to say. WDW Pro asserted, because the way that Rey works is that when The Force Awakens came out, fans were told, you got to see this to see all your original characters that you love, and that didn't happen. And then they were told, you've got to go see The Last Jedi because you've got to see actual Master Luke training Rey, and that didn't happen, which is true. He didn't. He taught her like one thing, and then she left. And then they were told, you've got to go see The Rise of Palpatine because you've got to see how this actually plays out. We've got a super secret plan to make this all worthwhile. Like, we're going to redeem all these characters, and then that didn't happen. There's 3 big movies that people were forced to go see where their favorite heroes were desecrated and where Rey was elevated. Guess what the new movie's not going to have? Rey Palpatine won't have any Mark Hamill, won't have a Harrison Ford. I highly doubt there'll be a... No, Princess Leia passed away. I was going to say they could try and CGI Princess Leia, but they can't even do that because I forgot she died in the 3rd one. So they will have no original characters except what? A guy in a Chewbacca suit? Oh, I'm sure that'll really bring home the cows. As for the budget of the film, WDW Pro detailed his source informed him that the Lucasfilm movie wants $225 million for the budget. Disney wants to keep it at $170. Should keep it at $100. Should be a $100 million budget. There's no reason that these films need to be so damn expensive. There's no reason for it. Already right there, you need like $500-something million, $600-700 million just to break even because of marketing and splitting movie costs out, like paying theaters and such. There's no need for it to be that high. So that's kind of the details of what's going on. I think all this will happen, and it's likely true. They want to rush this movie out. Kennedy will be able to make that happen because for some reason, whatever she wants, she gets. I'm blown away by it, but she's obviously not going anywhere. She's not ever going to get fired. She will leave when she wants to leave, and she will get whatever she wants. She'll probably get $225 million, maybe more, to make this movie that will probably flop worse than the Marvels. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Check out my Rumble and Locals. And I will see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my Locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here, I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my Locals.